acquire one of the requirements, basically. Draper says, I'm sorry to keep writing, but something did spring to mind. I used to hang around with a really dark bloke who's done the Ouija for about 40 years. His sister is a high priestess devil worshipper. But I remember he told me his friend summoned the devil by going into a church at night, I don't know what time, presumably 3 a.m., cover the altar with black cloth, and say the Lord's Prayer backwards. He told me his friend is now in a nut house. Losing your mind, of course, being one of the common side effects associated with occult practices, demon worship, that sort of thing. So, on to what the Lord's Prayer actually is. Now, there are a lot of different ways to say something like this. Different languages, people could argue which one is the correct one, even different versions of it, which you can see just from really quickly typing in Lord's Prayer on Wikipedia. But basically, it's an important, high status, held in high regard Christian prayer taught by Jesus, according to the Bible, basically. The version I'll be using is the prayer as it occurs in Matthew 6:9-13. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Now, the way I'll be reading this backwards is pronounced backwards, letter by letter, instead of word by word. For example, evil backwards is live or live, either way, instead of reading it as evil from us deliver but temptation into, which would be word by word backwards. Reading letter by letter would be live, morph, sue, reveled. You get the idea. Now I could read you. There's an incredible amount of information about the Lord's Prayer, but one interesting part, something that I certainly can't do, is the Lord's Prayer as a Latin Gregorian chant. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to hear it when I play it here, but if you don't hear it very well, feel free to go to the wiki and listen to it.
Precepti saltaribus moniti, et divina institutione formati, audemus dicere. Pater noster, qui es in celis, sanctificetur nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut in cielo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et dimite nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos dimittimus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo.
Now, when I do it, it won't sound anything like that, even backwards, of course. Other than maybe how, if you don't speak Latin, me doing it backwards will also sound unintelligible. But I was thinking, wouldn't it be interesting to have someone who was very fluent in Latin to try these things? Especially the ones that I've been suggested, quite a few actually, to try in Latin. So if anybody does know any really good books for like Learning Latin for Dummies, Idiot's Guide to Learning Latin, anything that has possibly mnemonic devices, perhaps even, for quickly learning Latin, so that I could quit screwing up the pronunciations even, at least, instead of just using Google Translate. That'd be good. But back to the point. The Lord's Prayer backwards with the black cloth on the church altar, to somehow summon the devil, possibly. Which, let's not even get into what the devil means. But enough talk. There'll be a cut here, and we'll get to it. Oh, and just to be clear, before anybody asks or, flags the video, regardless of what it looks like, I'm not trespassing and breaking the law. Thanks, and enjoy.
Here are the rows. Here's the altar. Now set up. The black cloth is in place, and it is 2:57. Although the black cloth does look white in the night vision.
Live, morph, su, revelid, tub, noitat, pemet, otni, tun, su, dale, dana. Es rotbed, ru, nevigrof, eva, osla, u, sa. Stabed, ru, sa, avigorf, dna. Derb, iliad, ru, yad, sit, su, evig, navia, ni, si, ti, sa. Hitre, no, inad, eb, lu, rui, imak, madgnik, rui, iman, rui, eb, duola, nevia, ni, retaf, ru.
There is a strange screeching noise, but that's been here this whole time. I think it's from some animals that are also inhabiting this old church. Over here, you can actually see the old donation plate. Some of the broken pews, the broken rows, in the torn up building itself, the window, the old organ, piano. Whoops. Stop that. It no longer works. I can show you a little more, perhaps. I'm not sure if you can see the footprints, proof of the animal activity. If that wasn't proof enough, I suppose this ridiculous amount of scat is. I don't have any sort of method for defending myself, so lurking through here for bats or raccoons might not be the greatest idea. Here you can see the leftovers from what was probably the last efforts to save the building. You can see there that it's completely open to the weather. Rain gets in. It's no longer used for an obvious reason. Although these sliding doors are pretty cool. That's a little better. Let me focus this infrared a little more. Now, the noises I heard of an animal, that's a great, I didn't know they had those in a building like this, but there is a large basement under here. This one's rather difficult to open. Oh, yikes, the floor beneath me here is, I'm not sure if you can see that, but too weak. There is an upstairs. I'm fairly certain at this point, though, it is inhabited with some animal that I'd rather not disturb, not just for the animal's sake, but since I don't enjoy rabies or generally being bitten. In the possibility that it is bats. So far I've noticed nothing strange, nothing unusual. Let's see if actually this is the tight stairway down to the basement. Once again, there is the altar, the curtains behind it in a bit of a amphitheater sort of shape. Here are the rows of the church. The lights, not that those should matter much. The incredible amount of animal scat. So I would say most likely it's a raccoon, but I'm not that much of a scat expert. And there you can see the floor here where I'm standing, very close to it, is completely rotted out. And the ceiling above me is also a convenient New Age see-through style of architecture. So, do I see honeycomb? Yeah, I know that there is a rather large bee infestation in the side of this building. A lot of old abandoned homes in rural areas end up with large bee colonies living in them. which is a little more intimidating actually than the bats or the raccoon, given bees' ability to kill the life out of you, basically. Some of you might remember my encounter with bees from an earlier episode and my swollen face issue, but since I haven't noticed anything strange, and I don't feel like getting stung to death, I'm going to save the rest of this exploration for a time where I can see more clearly. Let me know if you do want me to come back and explore the rest of the building, because I can. I was here once a long time ago in the daylight. Anyway, back to the point. I didn't notice anything unusual or strange. Let me know what you think of the backwards prayer in front of the altar with the black cloth on it. And let me know any ideas for other experiments, suggestions, ideas for anything related to the paranormal that we can try out and check out. Thanks to, I forget your name, I'm sorry, who sent this to me. It's been a while since you sent it. Sorry it took me so long. Not easy to get your hands on a church. Make sure you leave your suggestions in the comments below or PM me. And if you want to make sure you don't miss other fun little late night explorations like this, subscribe and YouTube will send you alerts whenever I put up new uploads. And oh, this is kind of cool. One last thing I'll show you. This church is actually large enough that they're, like I showed you, the stairs lead up to that area where you might be able to see some of the doors. But it's a whole loft that looks down onto all of the church rows and the altar, of course. I almost forgot my black cloth. Like I was saying, though, let me know any new ideas. Subscribe if you don't want to miss future ones. And thanks again to everybody